Okay, welcome to day 3 of the quarterly business boost, your roadmap to doubling, tripling, even 10xing your income in the next quarter. We are here with Karen Cappello, Master Certified Coach and Business Development Strategist. It is said that Karen is a cross between Oprah Winfrey, Susie Orman, with a bit of Esther Hicks thrown in for good measure. I'm Tiffany Pavelka, supporting Karen and you during this week. Please reach out with any questions. And now here's Karen to take us through creating 5-figure months and 6-figure years over and over with a proven system that's easy to implement. Over to you, Karen.
Thank you, Tiffany, and welcome to everyone. And I just want to say thank you for being here. This is day 4 and you're still going, and I'm still going. So I want to give you a lot of applause. Today, we're going to talk about taking the guesswork out of your business development. I know when I started, it was just a big guess about throwing spaghetti against the wall, trying to figure out what to do. So we're gonna go through that today. Yesterday was having high ticket buyers write your proposals, design your program, and even share their budget with you so that you win the business every time. And I want to start out a little bit from yesterday and moving into today. So we did not go over an enrollment conversation yesterday, the enrollment conversation questions. And I want to share a perspective about all conversations with potential clients that's going to put this really in line for you. One of my coaches years ago, Caitlin Domner, you might know her, she's a sales coach, and she wrote something that actually says it better than I could. So I'm gonna read this to you, what Caitlin says about sales. And I really want you to take this in as you hear it. So she says, sales is an act of love and service. It requires deep empathy, swift intelligence, and the highest forms of communication. No matter what's going on in our personal lives, no matter how many hours of sleep we got or didn't get, no matter what, we have to show up ready to give our prospective clients the opportunity to change their lives forever. This is where sales gets really transformational, which requires that we do our own inner work constantly. There's no space for ego in sales. There's no space for limiting beliefs or patterns of thought or scarcity of any kind. Every conversation we have with a potential client must be the first conversation with the only person on the planet. A salesperson is a window, allowing you to see what's possible. And when you're ready, step into your greatness. Just think about that. You can be a window to someone's greatness in a market research or an enrollment conversation. We love this as coaches. This is who we are. Caitlin goes on to say, for an hour, I will hold space for you. I will ask questions no one else cares or dares to ask, allowing you to discuss your highest aspirations, your deepest fears without judgment, trusting that God would not have placed those dreams in your heart unless he intended for you to make good on them. I will use all my creativity, my strategic intelligence to identify the blocks that have held you back for months, sometimes years, and show you that a solution is not only possible, but probable if you're willing to commit. I will speak truth into your life, even when it makes you uncomfortable, and even when it may cause me a paycheck. Too many coaches complain about the sales process like it's a distraction, keeping them from their work, completely missing the fact that it's on the sales call where deepest work is done. It's on the sales call where your clients will face their deepest fears. It's on the sales call they will question, not if you are worth it or your services, but if they are worth it. It's on the sales call where they'll have to decide if they'll continue making excuses or start taking action. Getting someone to say yes to themselves is the most powerful transformational work you can accomplish. Salespeople, she says, and I'll say coaches in conversations with prospects, are midwives of dreams. And you would be shocked at how much screaming and labor must be experienced before someone's willing to release their insecurities and claim their power and decide to make a change. Salespeople wrestle with demons for a living. They fight for every potential client they get on a call with, understanding that they're not really answering the question, will this work? But they're answering, can I really do this? Am I capable of becoming the person I need to be, who's big enough to accomplish all that is before me? Am I good enough for the promised land? So, coaches, it's never about you. Never. Get out of the way of doing this divine work. Be the conduit, the vessel through which love wins out. Wow. Isn't that amazing? I just love that perspective because I never thought about sales as being so transformational. I just thought about, oh, I got to do these sales calls, right? But we can give so much there. Caitlin Domner, I will put it in the chat. Doemer. I think that's it, Susanna. Anyway, look her up. She has a book out about sales. Tina, I could really fall in love with sales calls. So opposite to how I've looked at them before. Yes, that's why I love this. And I couldn't have said it better. All the conversations that you're having are transformational. These conversations that you're having will transform you and your business. And they'll also help you create your completely irresistible offer. The thing is, some of these will turn into clients from these conversations, and some of them won't, and it's all okay. But when the opening happens in those conversations, where the conversation turns, and you need to know how to recognize the opening and know what to say and do, that's where a coach comes in. So I can tell you, sometimes I'm on sales calls and people are asking me all these questions. And in the beginning, I used to say, they're asking all these questions because they really don't believe I can help them. And I felt sad about that. But then I realized they're not. They're asking these questions because they're interested in my program. And once I learned that, everything changed. So when things happen in those sales calls, this is where a coach comes in. I can give you all the strategies here, but when you implement them, there are going to be questions. What do you do if your potential clients don't show up for the market research conversation? Believe me, this has happened. We all know this. How do you reach back out without feeling awkward? How do you recognize the buying signals that can happen in these conversations? How do you move from a research conversation to closing a sale? These are some of the questions that the coaches in the Quick Start Intensive are asking and getting answered. So if you haven't registered for our next group and you resonate with what I'm saying, I invite you to join us. And if you register by June 17th, you're going to receive a 4-month payment plan with no interest. What would it mean to you if you could increase your income to $100,000 in the next year, or to have $40,000 quarters consistently? One of our Quick Start coaches built a home in the mountains. Anybody want a second home? Another's bought a home by a lake. I don't know what the home thing is here. I downsized, so that was good for me. Others have remodeled their homes or taken dream vacations or set up trust funds for their grandchildren. Others have created the security that comes with knowing there's a consistent flow of revenue coming in and their business is viable. All right. Oh, Maureen, sorry about your back, but thanks for being here. Okay, so let's look at where we've been. On Monday, you created a strong, energetic foundation for your marketing. On Tuesday, you learned about focusing on one ideal client to help with one challenge and the one result that they really desire, so you can have the basis of your one main offer. Yesterday, you learned how to get the insights to make your offers irresistible to your ideal clients. Now, remember, we started this series with the 4 C's. We've got these 4 C's here. So today we're on the 4th C, and that is, here it is, consistency. Consistency builds trust, and trust makes everything lighter. Your ideal clients are going to feel easy about working with you because of the trust that you've built. And we're going to show you how to have consistent income months and years and avoid that feast or famine in your business. With consistency, your income ceiling will be your income floor by the end of the year. Don't you love that metaphor? I've done it time and time again. I've seen it happen. So if you like consistent income, just type consistent income in the comments. Let us know. You know about that up and down of revenue, right? It's happened to me more than once. Oh, we got a lot of people want that one. You do lots of marketing, you get into conversations, you get a bunch of clients, you deliver quality programs to them, they complete. And now you have to go back to marketing conversations, etc. But it can take months to get the momentum going again, and your income dips for those months. How can you smooth that out and get that consistent income? The key is to making your marketing consistent and systematic. So have a daily routine so that you know what to do every day. I say conversations generate cash, and that's true. So you want to have conversations. And when you don't know your numbers and what to do every day that contributes to your bottom line, it can get confusing. You're trying to figure out, what can I do to make a difference? Marketing is a mystery. And it can be disheartening. You're doing so much work and you want to help, but you're not getting the momentum that matches the work you're doing. Consistency is the key here. And it's actually the most difficult one for me. So I will say that. I will claim that. And when you know your numbers and what you're supposed to do, everything flows. You can devote the proper amount of time each and every day, and you know you're going to succeed. Your confidence soars. You meet your goals because you know what it's going to take. So here are the numbers. I'm going to give you these numbers. They're based on research. There was one study that said 25 to 60% of conversations end up in paying clients in the coaching world. So let's look on the really conservative side. That's 1 out of every 4. 1 out of every 4. And 30% of those who you ask to have conversations will show up for them. That's another study, 1 out of 3. So think about that. Only 1 out of 3 is going to show up, but that's okay. So if you ask 12 people to get into conversations, the chances of 4 showing up are in your favor. And of those 4, the chances of 1 saying yes are high. So we're looking at probabilities here. These are people in your warm network, people you already know. So think about this. If you were willing to reach out to 12 people each month to get into a conversation, chances of getting 1 new client per month are high. But what if you reach out to 12 people each week? Then you could bring in 1 new client a week. And by reaching out, it could be as simple as sending an email or a message. So it doesn't have to be anything fancy. And let's just say if your offer was $2,500 and you got 4 new clients, there's your $10,000 month. Or if your offer was $2,000, Virginia, yours is right about $2,000, and you got 5 new clients, there's a $10,000 month. And that's a conservative estimate, that 25%. It could be 2 clients for every 12 that you ask. And once you have these conversations, then you want to have consistency in follow-up. So I've always heard it takes 7 contacts to make a sale. And recently I heard this number had doubled. So what the heck, right? But here's a pro tip. Collect 12 different follow-up pieces. Articles, quotes, infographics, links to cartoons. that will appeal to your ideal client and have them at the ready. And after you meet with a potential client, send a thank you note within 24 hours. So this is a great reason to know the power of one. This is going to support you to collect those same 12 pieces you can send to every single person. And then every 6 to 10 days, you can send a resource. You can number the resources so you know what you're sending. So I like to use Google Tasks. You can put it's up to 21 now, Stacy. It tripled in the age of social media. Let's go with the 15 just to be easy, but you can, after a while, you can put 21. But what if you put a task saying, send number 8 to Jane today? And you wrote an email message. I saw this article and thought of you. So in addition to the conversation with these resources, you're going to give yourself an advantage. This way, in about 3 to 4 months, you're going to have stayed top of mind without being salesy. You're giving value. It's going to impress your potential client. And once you get this going, you're going to gain momentum. And you won't have to feel awkward following up. You're not saying, do you want to work with me? Like, hey, we talked about this. Do you want to work with me? No, it's such a classy way. Simply send something of value. The fortune is in the follow-up. So you can do all of that. In a little while, you're going to hear from an amazing coach who is already successful when she joined QSI. And you're going to learn how Lisa was able to unlock a fresh perspective, visualize and manifest her coaching business, and achieve phenomenal results. We're going to find out exactly what she's doing so that you can incorporate some of her strategy in your marketing. What if you were able to spend a couple hours each day, find out exactly what to do to encourage people to talk with you? No more guessing, no more wondering, no more spending money on Facebook ads or marketing help that you're not sure will work. I don't even do Facebook ads. To find out what really works, you're going to need to experiment for about 90 days to get a clear idea of what it's going to take. And even though it's an experiment, you want to base it on proven strategies that have worked for others and see which ones work best for you. Once those 3 months are over, you're going to have a success system that you can repurpose for quarters to come. So how many hours per week are you willing to invest in marketing? If you know how many hours you're willing to invest, go ahead and type it in the comments. Think about when you're going to schedule it each day. One of my coaches recommends posting 3 times a week, 3 pieces of content to send out on social media that relate to your ideal client, your challenge, and your desired results. Within 12 weeks, you can create 36 different memes, articles, videos, blogs, whatever, that speak to your ideal clients so that you can use them again in the next 12 weeks and 12 weeks after that. And here's a pro tip. You can also use some of those for follow-up with your conversations too, so you can get to that 21 easily. These can be case studies, articles, quotes, anything that is of value. You could have a really simple schedule. Do a send out a quote on Monday, a case study on Wednesday, and a video on Friday. You'll get to see what people are looking at, responding to. You'll get to see which posts bring in clients. Many people seem to think they have to keep creating new content quarter after quarter. The truth is, repetition creates recognition. So just about the time you think maybe you're nagging your ideal clients, they're just starting to recognize you're there. In fact, what's easiest for you to repeat the content is actually the most effective way of bringing your clients into conversations. It's really good news. This is the reason we've done the power of one and the ideal client interviews is once you have this information, you're going to be able to send out focused content that speaks directly to the minds and hearts of your clients. So for consistency, that's our first point. Create content that speaks to your ideal clients. Tell stories. Have an anchor story of your own transformation. Give a before and after story. Share this everywhere. My story, you heard in the beginning. I was an investment advisor in estate planning, working 60 to 70 hours per week. And I only wanted three things: to work less, to wear comfy clothes, and to wake up without a blaring alarm clock. And I wanted to do all of this while maintaining the lifestyle I was accustomed to. I took the leap. I left my successful job with a lot of stress, became a coach with a lot more ease and joy, and I've never looked back. My ideal clients can totally relate to this story. So when you have a coach and a community cheering you on, it's very easy to find your story and use it. I want to share some other stuff, but I want to stop here for a second because I know our person is on the line. Lisa's here. Lisa, where are you? I saw you there. And I want to introduce.
Here I am.
Oh, there she is. I wanted to introduce to you Lisa Perez. So welcome to you, Lisa. Woohoo! And Lisa, you have done so well. I would love it if you could share a little bit about your story, about what brought you into QSI, what was your goal, and what happened. Any best practices that you can give for our coaches here today?
Sure. Well, thanks everyone, and it's great to be here. I'm honored to be able to speak on behalf of QSI and Karen, and she's an amazing coach. So my story is I was working full-time as an executive coach. I'm an external coach that works in the capacity as an internal coach. And I have to work outside of my home, and I have to live somewhere else during the week, and then I come home on the weekends. And I've been doing that for a couple of years, and it's starting to wear on me a little bit. And I felt like I was kind of trading hours for dollars and having to travel away from my home in order to do it. And so I had gone to the conference, our ICF conference in Arizona, where Karen was presenting. And I heard one of her clients speak about how they had made $1 million and how Karen was right there to support her. And I was watching Karen as her client was speaking, and I was thinking, wow, what a great support system. And so afterwards, I was very inspired, and I went up to Karen and I said, I want to do the same thing. And so I said, I want to do the same thing. I said, but not just monetarily. I'm looking for a way to change my current work environment. I need to get back home. And so she told me about QSI. I signed up in January to start the program. And things have definitely shifted for me. I'm still with my client, but now I'm in a capacity of more touch and go. And I'm slowly making the shift from being this full-time internal coach to more of a external coach that provides program services. And now I am home every other week, and I now have a much greater expansion of opportunity to reach out to other clients. And while I was in the program, I went 75% over my goal. And from that time, my goal was 20,000. I kept it very low because I didn't know what was possible. And I surpassed that. And from the time we have finished to where I am today, things have shifted to a completely different process than what I was doing. And I owe that to Karen and to the program. Karen, you just mentioned about there's nothing like having a coach in your community, and Karen is my coach in my community. And then on top of all that, you also have your fellow colleagues that are in the program. and you're watching them and their inspiration and their motivation, and boy, that just fires you up, and you start working towards things and moving on. So that's my story, and it is definitely every day it seems to be shifting more towards what my end goal was. Not just monetarily, but also in the lifestyle.
Lisa, I'm so proud of you. You really did the work. And I'm going to ask the same question Catherine just put in the chat. What did you do differently that changed the trajectory? What are a couple tips you could give our coaches that really made it work for you?
Well, I think it starts with the challenge that you are tasked with in QSI. That's the starting point. Well, obviously, I'll even go back a little further. It's that motivation that you want to create change for yourself, which is something I knew I wanted, but I didn't really have a concrete plan or a process on how to make that happen. And, I was one of these people like, well, I can figure it out on my own. I can save myself money and I will just do my own thing. Well, that wasn't quite working for me. And when I heard Karen presenting with her client at the conference and hearing, what her process was, I thought, wow, that just clicked with me. And so I went ahead and joined. And so the first piece is you've got to, want it, and you've got to be willing to vet yourself into this whole program. And then the second thing is that process that Karen provides, that was my challenge. That was my challenge right there is, there's a plan, there's a process that keeps everything moving along, and you've got other people that are also, in it with you, and you're watching them, they're watching you. And so it's a good, motivation to keep going. And then in my case, because my client is not where, in my location of where my home base is. And I'm in a very rural area. And so it's not like I had an opportunity to stretch myself out and look for a lot of other clients. However, what it did was it challenged me to deal with what I had and work with what I have, And so by doing that, it really spurred me on to start thinking out of the box, thinking creatively. And at the same time, every week you are being asked to show your progress. And there's other things within the program that hold that level of accountability. Mm-hmm. And that was really what it was right there. I think it's so, in short, it's your motivation and drive that connects with a proven process and being able to just take it from there. In addition to that, Karen, as I mentioned, she is that coach that's going to be there and spur you on, cheerlead you, and that was what I needed. I didn't realize that that's what I needed until I got in it, and then I thought, I experienced it and was like, wow, I really needed that, and now I plan on joining again come next year, and I know that I have Karen to call on when I need her.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you. And here's another question from Alexander. What was your tipping point to switch from your old mindset?
When I was at the conference, and I keep forgetting her name. What was
Rachel.
Your Rachel? Yeah, I was going to say Stephanie. I knew it wasn't Stephanie. Rachel. When I heard Rachel speak, because I know of her. I don't know her personally, but I have seen her in coaching, in the coaching community here in Arizona, which is where I'm from. And I thought, my gosh, well, if she can do it, I can do it.
Yeah, and Lisa, You told me I'm going to be your first $2 million client.
Yes, I did.
Right?
And I'm still planning that. I'm still planning on that. That is my goal. And I see it now. And that's the other thing too, is, especially as a solopreneur, a lot of us are individuals just out there doing our thing. I think sometimes we get caught up so much in the process of what we're doing, or in, strengthening our skills, that we lose sight of the foundational piece of growing our business. So it's one thing to grow our skills as a coach. It's another thing to apply that same energy to grow our business, but really strategically, and having a group of supporters around you to do that. And trust me, I was somebody that's like, oh, I can do this on my own. I can do this on my own. And I had done okay. I mean, I've done okay on my own. But when you're looking to do something more than just okay, then this is a good forum to be in.
Thank you, Lisa. And Lisa, you are an inspiration to all of us, because you were already very successful before you came into QSI. Your goal for QSI was new business that would not take you, that would not keep you away from home. And now, my vision for you is that you can work virtually and take your program on the road and not have to do all that traveling. And I see that so clearly for you. So I know
I see it. It's right around the corner.
It is. It's right there. So I know you're a really busy person, and I want to thank you so much for coming and sharing your wisdom with the coaches. And I really, really appreciate you and your support of the program and of coaches everywhere. So we'll give you a big round of applause. Well done, Lisa.
Thank you. All the best, everybody. Thank you, Karen.
Okay. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Isn't that a great story of a coach that was just going, and Lisa was traveling to another town and staying there for the week and then coming home for weekends. And she wanted to get more of her time back and time with her family. And that is exactly what she's doing. So you got a little bit of a best practices, the accountability and the community, I think, is what was really important for Lisa. So we're talking about consistency here, and I just really want to keep going on this consistency, because accountability is part of the consistency of having, in QSI, we do a progress report every single week. We check in where we are. And I don't know another program, another coaching program like this that has that kind of tracking. It helps, though, to see where you are. So in terms of consistency, we were talking about creating social media, and I wanted to bring Lisa in because I knew she had a time frame. And I'm kind of going back a little bit more to our content here. You want to create maybe even 3 pieces of content a week. Remember, I was talking about that. 1 case study, 1 meme, and maybe 1 video. And tell a before and after story about your clients. So that even people you've worked with in the past, they don't even have to be coaching clients. But here's an example. One of our QSI coaches lost his biggest client when the pandemic hit. Within 9 weeks, he replaced that income, and by the end of the 12 weeks, he had doubled it. 2 sentences, but I've told you a lot. Or how about one of our QSI coaches turned down a $50,000 contract in an organization where she was working 10 to 12 hours a day. And within 12 weeks, she had contracts for twice as much while working half the time. Another 2 sentences before and after. Or one of our coaches was able, and this is Lisa, was able to achieve phenomenal revenue results while working smarter and decreasing her travel time for in-person engagements. So think about the people you've worked with and how you could easily tell a compelling before and after story in just a couple sentences. That's what you want to look at. That's what you want to share out there. The successes of your clients are an inspiration to those who are meant to work with you. And we call this aspirational content. They're here to help others who aspire to be just like them and show them what's possible. So we've talked about creating content that speaks to your ideal clients. We've talked about posting consistently and giving some testimonials and case studies. The third thing you want to be consistent on is having those conversations. Remember, you want to have at least 2 market research conversations per week. This is going to give you a likelihood of 2 to 4 new clients per month, consistently. So get referrals. Ask everyone you know who may know your ideal client. This is why it's so important to identify your ideal client. Get over being shy, because people don't think of me as shy, but in those situations, I can be really shy. I tell myself, get over it, talk to people. If you are procrastinating, asking for market research conversations, get coached about this. It's so much easier to ask for referrals when you can describe your ideal client in detail and you're really clear on the power of one in your offer. So Rachel actually said this. She used to call herself a leadership coach, and she got business some, but when she changed into a more specific niche, it was much easier. So if I said to you, I'm a leadership coach and I work with leaders to be better at what they do, you might have some leaders in mind. But if I said I work with senior leaders who want to move through cringe moment conversations with respect and grace, that's easier to identify and speak about. And in fact, when Rachel sent me her cringe moment conversation model one day and by email that she'd been quietly using behind the scenes to help leaders, I said, this is $1 million idea. Little did I know, I was absolutely right about that. Here's another description from one of our coaches. I work with professionals in the insurance and finance industry on sales call reluctance. Now, I was personally in the finance industry, and I can attest to the number of financial advisors who need help with this. So there you have it. And here are our 4 C's: confidence, context, conversations, and consistency. It's a simple formula to understand, yet it can be complex to implement. This is our final day for our formal quarterly business boost, and I've left some time for Q&A. I'm still going to be talking and sharing here. But if you have any other questions about anything I've covered in these days, type it in the comments now. And Maureen, I love your labels for words and categories that could be called boring. Aspirational content. Yeah, it's true, right? So any questions you have, if you'd like to make $13,000 a month or more in the next quarter, join us for the next QSI and get your business recession proofed. Once you register, you're going to receive 3 self-study programs. One is your irresistible offer. So we're going to go really deeply into helping you get that offer solidified. And there are 2 more robust programs. One is Fill Your Coaching Practice with Ease, and the other is the Art of Group Coaching. Now, these 3 programs alone are worth probably half the price of admission. And we have 2 very special treats for the July group. As you know, the amazing business coach Connie Weitzel is going to take us through a mid-year planning session. I did not know this percentage, but those who make a plan reach their goals 30% faster. That's a statistic. And Connie has tracked her clients and they've reached their goals 50% faster. So that's pretty cool. Our second bonus is a cognitive bypassing blocker release session with Lara Zeilen. So how much faster can you go when your blockers are moved out of the way? This helps with alignment. And those 2 bonuses are worth the second half price of admission. So if you'd like to spend the next quarter accelerating your business income, reach out and see if QSI is right for you. Our next group we're doing one group at a time this year. So our next group doesn't start till October. Don't wait those 4 months if you know that this is what you want to do. Send a message to me or go to qsicall.com and get on my calendar. Many of the group members that are in QSI are coming back for another round. So when you register, you're going to have access to their brilliance. I'm on a mission to make sure that any coach who wants to put forth the energy is able to make their financial goals in as quick a time as possible. All right, I don't see any questions here. Okay, well, we may get done a little bit early. Your assignment for today, and as I'm giving this assignment, just share your takeaways in the chat for today. What did you learn today? I'm going to ask you to write for your assignment the hours per week that you're going to devote to marketing. I'm going to ask you to share your own story of how you've overcome a challenge of your ideal client in 3 sentences or less. Get ready to do this really easily. I'm going to ask you to share a before and after story of how a client of yours has overcome this challenge in 3 sentences or less. And what will you schedule for each day of the week for marketing? Think about that. And Tiffany has a note here to join us for the special session tomorrow. Do your assignments. They're all in the Facebook group. And if you'll let us know, we're going to send out an email and just respond to that email and let us know. We'll send you the password for the call tomorrow. Some of you have asked questions during this time, and I've said, bring it to the Q&A. I really want to roll up my sleeves and help you with that. I want to talk about some of these things and customize it for you so that you can get moving. As we're coming to the end of this quarterly business boost training, with what you've learned in these 4 days, you're going to have all the insights and information you need to make the next quarter your best one yet. So I want to thank you so much for taking the time to be with us and learning how to do this. Remember, the fortune is in the follow-up. If you've gotten value out of these days, I invite you to continue the learning. Make 2022 the best year in your coaching business. You have the superpowers. You have a structure. You have the start for creating all of your marketing assets from these conversations. Having your ideal clients reach out to you. Whatever you do, make sure you get support for implementation with what you learned here. This knowledge alone is not going to get you there. And for those who did their assignments and are with me tomorrow, I'm just really looking forward to supporting you. Okay, Daniel, I'm coming to the Dominican Republic. I think I'm going to figure out a way to make that happen. I'm really grateful for my team for supporting me this week. It takes a village. Tiffany and the Red Cape team, thank you for helping me do my genius work. I'm grateful to all of you as my colleagues in coaching. Big round of applause for Tiffany. My gosh, she's doing so much in the background, you have no idea. I'm really grateful to all of you who are working hard to help people all over the world and support those around them. Thank you for being you, for being willing to help others be the best version of themselves. And for those who are joining us tomorrow, I'm looking forward to it. Those who aren't able, let's stay connected. We'll be doing more free training. Next week, we have an interview with Tracy Winter, who's our nerd coach, who's got a plum engagement working with leaders at Tesla. Find out how that happened. Ask her any questions you want. Thank you all. These messages that you're sending are really, really warming my heart. Thank you for being part of my community this week. I'm inspired by you, and I'm wishing you so much success with ease and joy. And I'll be here. So even though we didn't need the time for questions today, I'm always available for questions in our Coaches Business Success. So let's give ourselves a round of applause for everything we've learned. And we'll see you tomorrow and in the group. Take care. Bye-bye.